Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer, come see how we rock this. Alabama fans the best, there's no way you can top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Welcome into the process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I am Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine. As always, thank you guys so much for joining me today on the process as Alabama is coming off of their biggest recruiting weekend of the 2019 football season. Although the game did not work out in their favor with LSU coming out on top, I think it still was a successful weekend for Alabama on the recruiting trail with the great atmosphere that was in Tuscaloosa and with the crowd so involved in a big time game and a competitive game in which LSU did come out on top, but Alabama and Tua Tagovailoa showed a lot of fight. So I think recruits really enjoyed their particular visits during this weekend in Tuscaloosa. In this episode of The Process, I have noticed that a lot of people are talking about what role this particular win will play for LSU on the recruiting trail when it comes to battling Alabama. So I wanted to take a look at that particular predicament and break down what LSU's win mean to Alabama in terms of those guys going after the same recruits most of the time on the recruiting trail. But before I get to that, I'm going to hit you guys with some recruitment updates. As always, you guys can check out touchdownalabama.com. As always, stay updated with Alabama football recruiting as I've been posting constant articles about players' reactions to their visits. I caught up with five-star defensive end Thomas Adelaide out of Texas. You guys check out that article on touchdownalabama.com, along with four-star defensive back in the 2021 recruiting class, Jalen Davis out of Mater Dei High School. I caught up with him, and I also caught up with four-star offensive lineman and Auburn commit who feels Alabama and Auburn are right there for his signature once it all comes down to it. And Javion Cohen, you guys can also check that out on touchdownalabama.com. More updates on guys who visited Alabama this weekend will be provided throughout the weekend, so stay updated with us here at Touchdown Alabama. Alabama's four-star athlete commit Christian Story is getting closer and closer to that career record for the Alabama High School Athletic Association, which stands at 163 for career total touchdowns. He racked up 3 touchdowns in Lynette High School's first playoff game of the playoffs this season. In the first round, he racked up 3 touchdowns, pushing his number to 155. So now he has about 4 games left to possibly break that record with 9 touchdowns or possibly tie it with 8 touchdowns. Alabama's 2020 commits reacted to Alabama's first loss of the season. You guys can check that out on touchdownalabama.com as well. Something I noticed from the 2020 commits that I got a chance to talk with Alabama after Alabama's loss to LSU was they felt really connected to the team. They said they really felt that loss and they feel that they want to come back in next year and try to make an impact throughout that game. So I think that brought those particular commits closest to Alabama. You guys can check out that article for free on touchdownalabama.com as always. But to get this show started, similar to the way that I get all Monday shows started, I'm going to hit you guys with some of Alabama's commits, top plays from this weekend. This first play comes from Alabama's 4-star wide receiver commit, Thaiu Jones-Bell. He comes across the middle on this particular play, catches the ball with one hand, showing that Alabama's other 4-star wide receiver commit, Javon Baker, is not the only Alabama commit that can snag those one-handed catches. He catches this pass in between traffic, and he secures the ball before he makes contact with the defensive players, which is pretty good on this particular play. This last play comes from Alabama's 4-star athlete commit, Christian Story, who I've said on many times could easily play quarterback at the next level, but Alabama will most likely use him at the defensive back position for the most part. But on this particular play, he escapes from pressure, basically stiff arms a guy to the ground, keeps his eyes downfield, and throws a touchdown, showing that this guy is composed and a great quarterback for Lynette High School. As I said earlier, he picked up 3 touchdowns in that particular game, which moves him closer to that state record of 163. I am now going to break down what I feel LSU's win over Alabama means for the Tide moving forward. Alabama and LSU are constant foes on the recruiting trail. They constantly recruit the same players from across the nation, as well as recruit one another states pretty hard. For example, LSU went into Alabama in the 2019 recruiting cycle and pulled out Cordell Flout out of Saraland High School in Saraland, Alabama. Flout made an impact in Saturday's game in his limited action. In the limited time he did get a chance to see the field. Alabama returned the favor in the 2019 recruiting cycle by landing four-star athlete Christian Harris out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who has been pretty productive for Alabama for most of the season. So they are constantly bumping heads on the recruiting trail for some of the top recruits in the nation, as well as some of the top recruits in one another state, and that's going to continue for future recruiting classes. But as far as the 2020 recruiting cycle is concerned, I do think that LSU's win over Alabama is going to help them on the recruiting trail, and I feel that Ed Ogeron and his staff is going to milk this 100%. As he said in his speech after the game, they're going to try to beat Alabama on the field as well as on the recruiting trail. So they're going to milk this win as much as possible on the recruiting trail, and I know that Alabama and the Tigers are both recruiting five-star running back Zachary Evans pretty hard. I think that this win over Alabama for the LSU Tigers, Ed Ogeron is going to use that specifically for his speech for Evans. I know that they have hosted Evans for an official visit already, and after LSU beat Alabama, he did post an Instagram live with the caption "Go Tigers," live streaming the game and showing that he was watching the game, and from the outside looking in, looked like he was going for the Tigers. So I do think LSU made a move for Zachary Evans with that win, especially with the way that they used the running back position in that particular game. Ed Ogeron has visited North Shore High School and seen Evans in action this season, so they're going to continue to recruit him very hard. But Alabama is going to continue to recruit him also, so that is something to look out for. I know that LSU's five-star cornerback Elias Ricks shut his recruitment down 100%. Alabama was expecting an official visit from Elias Ricks, but in my mind, I always felt that it was going to be a long shot for Alabama to get Ricks, but it was a possibility. But with him shutting his recruitment down 100%, he's no longer on the table, and that is one of the benefits that LSU got from beating Alabama. As far as the 2020 recruiting class is concerned, I think the Alabama 2020 class will finish strong, even if they don't get guys like Zachary Evans, a five-star running back and the number one running back in the nation, who is a very special talent, and Alabama wants to add him to their 2020 recruiting class. But they do have verbal commitments from four-star running back Kyle Edwards, Wardell Williams, and they're currently recruiting four-star running back and Georgia Tech commit Jameer Gibbs. So Zachary Evans is another guy to look out for as far as Alabama and Alabama and LSU recruiting him very hard, and his recruitment could be impacted by LSU beating Alabama. So that's what I feel comes from LSU beating Alabama. They're going to try to milk this on the recruiting trail 100%. But something to look out for as well, Alabama is not completely out of the college football playoffs. And if things work out and Alabama continues to win and a couple of things work in their favor, Alabama and LSU could possibly play each other in the college football playoffs. And if Alabama was to go on to win, I think that kind of voids this game as far as LSU using it on a recruiting trail in the future, because Alabama will simply say that we beat LSU when it mattered, and when it mattered, and it possibly led us to win another national championship. So that is something to look out for. And if I was LSU, I would milk this win as much as possible, knowing that that could be a possibility down the road. As far as looking at my recruiting trail, efforts from a wide outlook, I would try to milk this win over Alabama 100%, as I think Ed Ogeron and his staff will do. The Alabama's 2020 recruiting class is still in a good position in my mind. Another guy to look out for as far as this game impacting his recruitment could be a four-star defensive lineman, McKinney Jackson, who Alabama and LSU is recruiting pretty hard. Alabama has already hosted him for an official visit. He's a guy to look out for. And those two wide receivers are verbally committed to LSU, and Rakeem Jarrett, the five-star wide receiver, and Kayshawn Boutte, a four-star wide receiver. It could affect their recruitment. I think it will affect Boutte's recruitment more than it will affect Jarrett's recruitment. I think that their particular win, LSU's win, really helped them locked in Booty, because Booty, Alabama and LSU was right there together. And I think that with him being a Louisiana kid, born and raised in Louisiana, and now he sees that LSU is showing that they can beat Alabama, compete for the national championship. I think that is pushing Booty more to locking his commitment down with LSU 100%. But as far as Jared goes, he's a Washington D.C. product. Alabama's really recruited the DMV area pretty hard, and he does have those former teammates on the team, so I think he would still look at Alabama. So that's what I think about Jared and Booty as far as them being LSU commits where Alabama is targeting. So that's why I feel LSU's win over Alabama means for the Tide moving forward on the recruiting trail.
And watch this.
The process.
That would do it for this edition of The Process. Thank you guys so much for watching. Call in to The Process at 205-440-3968. Call in, leave your recruiting question via voicemail, and enter for a chance to win a Bama Fever gift card. The person with the top question from each week will receive a Bama Fever gift card courtesy of Bama Fever, who sells the top Alabama athletic apparel. Don't forget to download the Touchdown Alabama app. Stay updated with TouchdownAlabama.com. As always, I am Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine.